Okay, I don't really have plans in regards to like a review, but I really just want to talk about the Earthseed series and the Earthseed books, Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler. I read Parable of the Sower over the summer, and I just finished Parable of the Talents last night. And this series of books, because I'm not going to call it a duology, is truly profound, truly incredible, and is a testament to what literature can and should be, and how it speaks to readers and to the world and to just everything. The reason that I refer to this as a series rather than a duology is because this was planned to be multiple books. And unfortunately, Octavia E. Butler, with her untimely passing before she was even able to start writing the third book in this series, leaves just these two books as testament to what her vision was for the Earthseed series. And what these two books explore is religion and religiosity in such a complex way that I understand the divisiveness of these books, of these characters that are portrayed in these two books. What Butler does, the way that she writes, is to not preach, ironically enough, her viewpoint, but to just explore and make the reader decide. She doesn't tell you as the reader who or what is right and who or what is wrong. She leaves that up to the reader's interpretation and their own critical thinking to make their own decisions. And for me, in this series, I see this as an exploration, like I said before, of religion and religiosity and the way that religion can control and influence in both good ways and bad ways. And through the main character, Lauren, we get her journals in the first book, as well as in the second book, of her trying to build this philosophy and subsequently religion that comes from this philosophy of Earthseed. And from the beginning, we are shown that Earthseed becomes something with these epigraphs from the Earthseed books of the living. And in the first chapter, you get the epigraph of, all that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you. The only lasting truth is change. God is change. Butler explores this religion and religiosity and this philosophy of Earthseed through this almost post-apocalyptic world of the US, the United States of America, with Lauren as she's in this very closed, literally walled off town in California. And in the first book, she is having to deal with the isolation that the entire society has evolved into, small pockets of people in their respective towns. There's rampant casual violence. The crises caused by economic collapse, climate change. When people talk about this series, they often talk about how Butler foretold the future. But when they talk about that, they're really talking about Parable of the Talents and the political situations that are occurring in the second book. With that said, while that is mostly true, there is even reference to Make America Great Again by a presidential candidate. Reducing this series to that reference point does this series a disservice. It is a disservice. This series is an exploration of how belief and faith can be used through religion, through lack of religion for the individual, for the community, and for the longevity and existence of the world, and how humanity really hasn't changed, and through belief and faith we make that change happen, for good or for ill. In the second book, Parable of the Talents, there is a quote in here that I think wonderfully summarizes Octavia E. Butler's writing style and storytelling, and how readers may experience her work. The main character, Lauren, is writing in her journals, and she says, "I can't believe that any of this is true. I mean, there ought to be a different way to write about these things, a way that at least begins to express the insanity and the terrible, terrible pain of it all." And that's what Butler does in her writing in general, and especially in the Earthseed series. She writes such a profound yet harrowing, challenging but hopeful story of what belief can do. I will Hanitha Gade her review of this series down below as well, so that you can get her spoiler-free thoughts as well. So yeah, Parable of the Sower was easily my favorite book of the year when I read it in July, and there is no questions asked. This series of books is still my favorite thing that I've read this year, one of my favorite series, up there with my other beloved series, and this is one that I will reread in the future. The combination of philosophy, faith, religion, and just this really harrowing and dire world it ticked all the boxes for me. And it was written in journals. So let me know if you've read this series and what your thoughts are on it. More Octavia Butler in my future. I still have Fledgling and the Pattern Master series to read, and then I will have read everything that Butler has written. She is the GOAT, as they say. Everyone should be reading her works.